good, sweet Urza. I love Tarkir. It's just such a great plane. It's where essentially me and Martin first met when we were playing Magic, when I started playing Magic, and I just love dragons. Plus, also, Sarkhan is there. Ah, Sarkhan. Hello everyone, welcome back to Affinity for Commander. Today we're taking a look at Teval, the alternative commander to the Sultai Arisen commander deck. As always, like any of the cards you see here today in this video, then please make all your purchases through our lovely affiliate links in the description box below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but really helps the channel out quite a lot. And as always, all prices you see here today are provided by the fabulous sponsor of our channel, the amazing cardmarket.com. Full budget for today's deck is €392, although a lot of that is found in the land base, which can be foregone, but we'll be getting to that. Now, the leader of this beautiful smash together between landfall and graveyard nonsense is Teval, the Balanced Scale, a gorgeous 4/4 for 1 generic mana and Sultai colours that is flying and reads: whenever Teval attacks, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. So we're going to be using the first ability to ramp us and get some spicy lands into play, as well as fueling a graveyard theme throughout the deck, and then the second ability to create a horde of 2/2 zombies to overrun our opponents with. Doing this by escaping some stuff, reanimating stuff, and exiling some stuff. Let's get to it. At the 1 mana CMC, we have our little rampers in Birds of Paradise, Elves of Deep Shadow, and Delighted Halfling, making sure our colours are fixed and our commander uncounterable. Then the twin graveyard boys of Deathrite Shaman and Molt Tender, one being significantly better than the other, but fueling the graveyard engine does make the insect worth it. Crop rotation to get any spicy lands and ensure a land in the bin for Teval's trigger, which will be triggering our Iridescent Vinelasher. And considering the fact we're hopefully getting 2 land drops a turn, being able to pay the offspring cost and thus get a cheeky 2 damage each land drop is a great way to shorten that game. And finally, some cards to keep our beautiful dragons safe in an Offer You Can't Refuse and Swan Song to outright counter some stuff, and Sylvan Safekeeper for on-demand Shroud, and again ensuring Teval's landfall triggers goes ahead by getting back the land we just sacrificed. Now up to the 2 drops, and we're foregoing the usual, Signet Jamboree in favour of some genuine land drops. Hence, Farseek, Nature's Law, and 3 Visits making their contractual appearance considering we are a landfall deck. In the same vein, Lotus Cobra with that sweet, sweet landfall ability. Insidious Roots is one of those rather weird cards that seems purpose-made for this deck. Teval's zombies now become mana dorks, and we have a double up of her last ability by making a Swole Plant Army. Now for our graveyard support, Aftermath Analyst to get back all our lands, Dredger's Insight for a little life gain, and Life from the Loan just in case it wasn't clear what type of deck this is. We're also running Heroic Intervention to keep our commander and board safe from board wipes and target removal, same with Lightning Greaves, because haste means we get to start ramping and making our zombie army all the sooner. And lastly, Blood Artist for a cheeky little combo with Gravecrawler. Now, yes, I'm fully aware that playing a graveyard deck and having a Gravecrawler combo in it is a lot like playing stacks and then losing all of your friends. Completely obvious and kind of inevitable. The way it works is very simple. Having a Gravecrawler in the bin and then any zombie in play, probably made by our commander, means that we can then recast Gravecrawler from the bin because we have a zombie out, and thus make another zombie thanks to Teval's ability. The best bit comes when you add a Phyrexian Altar to the mix, because now we can sacrifice the Gravecrawler, generating a black mana, and then using that black mana to recast a Gravecrawler because we still have that zombie out. In this way, we are able to create infinite zombies from Teval because we are repeatedly having a creature entering or moving out of our graveyard, and also able to generate infinite mana by sacrificing, half of the infinite zombies we're going to be making. So, just through this 3-card combo, with one of those cards being our commander, we get infinite mana and infinite 2/2 creatures that are, unlike a lot of zombies, not tapped. But if we manage to pull this off with a Blood Artist out, then we are able to do so and drain the entire table for all of their life at the same time. There are times where I think I should stop including Phyrexian Altar in my deck, and then stuff like this comes out. And I think better of it. Moving up to the 3-drops, we've got the bulk of the deck, and more landfall goodness, with Azusa, Lost but Seeking for more land drops, Ramunap Excavate to play lands from the grave, and Entish Restoration to grab 2 basics at instant speed, or 3 basics if we have a slightly larger creature out, like, our commander. Now, cards that would enjoy these landfall triggers very much in Nissa Resurgent Animist, another copy of Lotus Cobra, but who also comes with a great ability to get, well, quite frankly, honestly, a lot of cards from our deck. Scoot Swarm for exponential growth to our board, and Tireless Tracker, because after dropping your hand full of lands, it is important to have some way of refilling it, and clues are just as good a way as any. Now, since we're filling our grave, we're going to want cards to take advantage of that. Honest Rustin to get something back and make our creatures cheaper, Magus of the Will to be able to cast everything from our grave. Now, I do want to stress, however, this is a late game card, as we'll want 3 mana to activate him and then play from our yard, so he's not really a turn 3 guy, but he slots in here. 6 is a mini Teval effect, and then giving all our cards retrace works wonderfully with Teval being able to grab back those discarded lands. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, is perfect to either be milled or just play normally, and then escape later by also helping with more land drops and even card draw. Victimize to sack one of Teval's zombies to bring back hard-hitting creatures that have been milled, and finally, Ren and their new babe, Realmbreaker. They're here for colour fixing, but also mainly that -2 ability, but the +1 to essentially untap a land isn't bad either. Now, going up, I'm going to be putting the 4 and 5 drops together because they're kind of the same with the deck. They're moving away from the little bitty points of damage, but the final bits of ramp and our little bits of actual game-winning cards. Still no game changes though, just want to point that out. Lost Monarch of Ifnir makes all our zombies hurt and then gets to mill and get a creature back. Oracle of Multai for more land drops and playing from the top so we know what we're milling and can plan ahead accordingly. And Wonder is a wonderful card to mill because who doesn't love flying zombies? Sidisi Undead Vizier is a literal tutor and we can just sack a zombie to the exploit trigger. Tatiova for card draw and life gain, and the Scarab God to start reanimating any of our milled creatures or just, steal our opponent's graveyard. And that's not even mentioning that great upkeep trigger and the synergies with Teval's second ability. The last creature at this CMC is Sir Conrad, who works wonderfully with our earlier mentioned Gravecrawler combo to kill the table, but also works just as well with any Dredge or Teval's land ability or Uro. They are just quite frankly a great card in this deck. But onto the non-creatures. Parallel Lives to double all of our tokens from Teval and other sources as well. Splendid Reclamation to put all lands into play from our grave, and Titan's Nest to fill our yard, fix our draws, and essentially give all of our spells delve in a weird way. And super lastly, at 5 CMC, technically, is a Room of Defiled Crypt to get 1 extra zombie a turn, and Cadaver Lab to trigger both our Crypt and our commander's abilities. Now up to the big drops for the deck. Now, a few of these cards do have Delve, and therefore will absolutely not be getting cast for their CMC, but they need to be put somewhere on the list, and this is their CMC value, so what are you going to do? Cards like Tasigur the Golden Fang, whose ability also lets us get back cards and trigger our commander's ability. Hogak Arisen Necropus is a card that can get itself out of the grave and an 8/8 Trampler is absolutely nothing to sniff at. Plus, Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise, both good cards, but hopefully being cast only for 2 and 1 mana respectively. AC Tyrant of Gaia straight for additional landfall and draws. Lumra, Bellow of the Woods for a fat beat stick that gets back all our lands from the grave. And Muldrotha, because having one very good Sultai commander just isn't enough, we want 2. And since we're milling so much, Muldrotha can take full advantage of that. And the last 3 cards are Avenger's Zendikar to offer another win con, because we're going to be having a load of lands, and being able to pump that army of plants they generate is going to be super easy. Cultivator Colossus, who will be one big boy, and then we get to play a game of see how far down our library we get to go by repeating their ETB trigger over and over again. And finally, another room. Walking Closet for another copy of Ramanap Excavator, and Forgotten Cellar to do a great Magus of the Will impression. Now, moving on to the lands. Now, we are running quite a few fetch lands in here, pretty much of all the colours that we can, because being able to Teval a fetch land back to the field and then repeatedly do it for the rest of the game is just a great bit of synergy that massively helps propel this deck into the next little bit of power. But I do appreciate these are quite expensive and not to everyone's taste, so cards like Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds work just as well, but will make the deck just a touch slower. Something to keep in mind. Away from these, however, Accursed Juneyard keeps our Spirit commander safe, Cephalid Colosseum to sack it, draw it, and then get it back with Teval, and Dakmor Salvage for just more dredge. Then Field of the Dead, which feels like the most obvious inclusion, Lotus Field, as we'll be able to get back those lands one way or another, Strip Mine to ruin the day of anyone daring to play Cabal Coffers or Urza Forbid their own Field of the Dead. And a card I think should really see more play, Urza's Cave. Now, yes, I'm fully aware it's 3 mana, but it gets any land, plus we can get it back and do it again, and trigger our landfall creatures some more. Overall, Teval is a fantastically great Sultai commander that is definitely grinding, aiming for the mid to late game. And yeah, you ain't winning fast with this dragon. But by the mid game, you definitely should have out more lands than all of your opponents combined. Sultai is honestly becoming a rapid favourite of mine for just commanders that absolutely slap. It's been hit after hit after hit. Okay, they can't all be bangers. What a waste. And that'll be the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. What is your favourite card for any graveyard type deck? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one. As always, this video and all Affinity Commander content is brought to you by our amazing patrons. You guys are truly awesome. If you too like to become a patron of the channel and get access to exclusive EDH related rewards, then be sure to check out our link in the video description box. You can also support the channel through the quick and easy ways, liking this video, subscribing, commenting, and hitting the actual subscribe button, which is the bell icon. But as always, guys, I've been Alex, and I'll see you next time.